Hello and welcome along to Champ.ie, brought to you in association with Gordon Park Racecourse, Syndicate Style Racing, KCLR Radio, and our betting partner, Boyle Sports. It has been three of the best days at the Cheltenham Festival. Willie Mullins reached the 100 mark in the final race on Wednesday, and so many great stories have come from the opening 3 days of the festival. It's the biggest day in the National Hunt calendar, though. It's Gold Cup Day at Cheltenham, and Barry Doyle and I will look ahead in the next 20 minutes or so to all 7 races. Barry, news, Sergino gone from the opening race on Friday. It's been a week that Nicky Henderson and the team will want to have forgotten.
Absolutely, and he was bidding for his 8th Triumph Hurdle. It's over to Willie Mullins now, I think, David. Some multiple runners in the race once again, and he's won the race 3 times in the last 4 years. So Nürburgring is representing Joseph O'Brien. That's currently priced up at 6-1. But in terms of the opening race, look, it's wide open now, and I suppose Sergino was all the rage for this race for a long time, David. And I suppose the one I like in here at a price at the moment with Boyle Sports of 15-2 each way is actually owned by the Donnellys as well. It's Salvador Mundi, who I suppose looking at the racing in Ireland or the UK, is the closest horse he's the horse that's come the closest to Sergino, who was, of course, the AntePost favourite for this race for quite a long time. He was only beaten 2 lengths in France by Sergino. We haven't seen him on a race course for Willie Mullins as of yet. But look, comes with a big reputation. Love the pedigree, no risk at all out of Saint de Saint Mare. The ground will be absolutely no issue. The vibes are good about this horse. Look, Brian Hayes on board. He's 2 big chances. We're holding the faith with Brian Hayes on Friday at the Cheltenham Festival. We'll come on to the Albert Bartlett very shortly. He's a decent ride in that as well. But I don't think the ground will be an issue. I think he's talented, and I liked what I saw in his run in France. So we've seen Willie Mullins do this in the past, David, with newcomers, Hot and Colour in the exact same silks, placed in the Triumph Hurdle, having its very first run. I think this horse could be a lot more talented than Hot and Colour. Majborough, look, he's shaped with good promise, David, at the Dublin Racing Festival. I'd imagine the new course will suit him even better at Cheltenham, up that hill. He seemed to really, travel and jump quite well, I thought, at Leopardstown. He's the favourite at the moment, 11-4, but take a bit of a swing. Salvador Mundi for Brian Hayes, Willie Mullins, and the Donnelly, in the Donnelly, should I say, in the first race at 15-2. That's the pick each way.
Well, I think, as you've mentioned, Willie Mullins has now holds all the aces in the race, and Caragis is another very interesting runner with Danny Mullins on board. I wouldn't rule that out, but I do really like the homework of Majborough. I thought that was a very eye-catching run at Leopardstown, over 2 miles last time. I thought there was going to be plenty more to come. Ground won't be a problem. And I actually think that Majborough is going to be my best pick on Friday in the opening race, now that Sergino is not running. I thought that he was going to have a job in beating Sergino, but now with him gone, I think it just opens up the door. And when Majborough is a very confident selection for me for the opening race, which of course is the JCB Triumph Hurdle Grade 1 on Friday. Right. Let's move on, because the county handicap hurdle is always a very competitive race, and Boyle Sports is always lots of extra places right throughout the week. 5 places going to be on this upcoming second race on the Friday, Barry. Always competitive. What are you liking it?
Yeah, just before coming on to selections, obviously the viewers have been very good putting in their selections down below in the comments, David. So we encourage that once again. As we're recording, obviously, ahead of racing on Thursday, we'll have 4 tickets, so 2 pairs to give away on our Cheltenham review show, because we don't know the results, obviously, of Thursday as we're recording. But moving on to the county hurdle, look, it's typically a very tricky race, David, that you can find one at a bit of a price. 5 of the last 8 winners return 20-1 or bigger. And obviously, Willie Mullins and Dan Skelton, who is seeing Dan Skelton in super form already, he's already taken out 2 of the 4 handicaps that has been run at the festival so far. But between Willie Mullins and Dan Skelton combined, they've won 8 of the last 9 renewals of the county hurdle. He has load of sud in here, the Skeltons, and Willie with a couple of runners in here. The one I like for Willie Mullins, and I think it could be, David, you mentioned Majborough in the first race. JP has some hand on the Friday of Cheltenham as we're recording. Zenta's the one I like. I'm really keen on her chances each way in the county. She's 11-1. She's the pick of Mark Walsh. Big opposing mare, and I like how Willie has campaigned this horse this year. She reverted back over hurdles. She's been campaigned sparingly, and over hurdles at Leopardstown at the Dublin Racing Festival. I thought she seemed to really enjoy getting in amongst horses and passing horses. She's shaped like the best horse. She jumped the last in front. And I just think, she's only 5. She's only 5 years of age. We've seen 5-year-olds run well in this race in the past. Obviously, Pied Piper was just touched off last year, having ran a cracker in the Triumph Hurdle the season prior. And I just think, when he's given this mare plenty of time, she was only beaten, crucially, 2 lengths. This is the key bit of form in here. Only beaten 2 lengths on the new course last season against Lossiemouth. Look how that form has worked out. I just think Zenta, she was progressive. She went on, obviously, to win a Grade 1 for Willie Mullins at Aintree. And what I like about her is, she was only having her second start for Willie Mullins, in that Triumph Hurdle last year. I think she's plenty of potential to improve, and I think she could be graded class in a race like the County Hurdle. I think she could be very dangerous. Will have to be delivered late, but at 11 to 1 each way, you're going to be getting extra places. I just think she's a model to hit the frame.
I also think that Magical Zoe for Henry de Bromhead and Adrian Heskin on board this one has a big chance. It was second behind Lord Erskine at Leopardstown. Lord Erskine had a very, very nice weight in that race, remember, and ran it to 3.5 lengths. I think that's really good form. And as we saw, Barry, Henry de Bromhead stable has been on fire this week at Cheltenham. Right, let's move on and look ahead to race number 3. It is, of course, the Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle. It's a Grade 1 contest. And, well, Barry, for weeks now, you've been shouting, you've been roaring from the rooftops. There's a nap pick for Barry Doyle in the Albert Bartlett. Come on, let's tell us all about it.
Such a race to pick an app for the festival, David, but I just think this horse is absolutely tailor-made for the Albert Bartlett. It's Lecky Watson. Obviously, the form is working out all around the place. David Rushmount coming out, of course, and winning at Thurles a couple of weeks ago. And obviously, Slade Steele went on to win the Supreme Novices Hurdle. In fact, Defile as well from the bumper last year went on to absolutely bolt up yesterday. So linking that back to Lecky Watson, obviously he was 4th in the champion bumper last season, and he's proven himself over 2 mile and the extended 6 furlong, of course, down early in the season on its first start, where obviously got up to beat Rushmount. That's come out in one since. And Slade Steele has that graded form as well, just touched off by Slade Steele, of course, in that Grade 2 up at Navan before running third in the Grade 1 Lawlers and Ace. And I just think the key to this horse could be the new course on softer ground, up in trip at the 3 miles. I just think it's tailor-made for the race. And a 10 to 1, it's hooded for the first time. We'll know pretty early if Lecky Watson can get into a rhythm under Brian Hayes. And we've seen Willie win it maybe with what's not deemed as the first string. The likes of the Nice Guy springs to mind. Won the race under the hands of Sean O'Keefe. Paul Townend obviously rode Penhill to win at a big price. So Willie Mullins can find one in this race at a bigger price. Looking at the trends of the race, 8 of the last 10 winners returned 14 to 1 or bigger. This horse is 10 to 1, not quite as big, but it's still double figures each way nap at the festival. Lecky Watson for the Slaneyville Syndicate, and let's hope we'll be having a party in the Lower Bagnall, David.
Right, the most competitive, well, I won't say most competitive, but the biggest race of the Cheltenham Festival is the Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup. It's the Grade 1. It's over 3 miles and 2 furlongs. GalopinDesChamps is our favourite at the top of the market, 11 to 10. But Barry Doyle, you've been all over, of course. Fastorslow for a long time. Martin Brazel, JJ Slevin, they're teaming up. Are you still in that Fastorslow camp for the big one on Friday?
I am, David. I think, look, it's what I like about Fastorslow is obviously it's 2-2 on the scoreboard against GalopinDesChamps. The Irish have a serious record in recent seasons in the race, and we've seen the festival we've had so far. 8 of the last 10 winners of the Gold Cup has, of course, brought the tricolour back into the winners' enclosure. So we had Martin Brazel on the podcast, David, earlier on in the season, just asking him about Fastorslow and the Gold Cup. He did say that, in the Gold Cup, maybe a truer run race over 3 mile, 2 furlong at Cheltenham. Sometimes in Ireland, you can see races can be very tactical, the likes of the John Durkin, for example, where they go steady early and then they pick up the tempo. He thinks this horse will benefit from more of an end-to-end gallop. Look, he's not proven over 3 mile, 2 furlong, but obviously he's proven to run very well in the Ultima last year over 3 mile and a furlong. That was on the old course. I'd say the new course will suit him that little bit better. He'll be able to use his jumping. And I just think low mileage, look, this will only be his 8th start, David, over fences. I just think there's a lot to like about Fastorslow. This looks to be his time, and it's his All-Ireland final, if you like. This is 8 years of age, going for a Gold Cup. He's a dual Grade 1 winner. This looks to be set up for Fastorslow for a huge run. GalopinDesChamps, look, on that form at Leopardstown at Christmas, where he didn't race against Fastorslow. If he repeats that, he'll be tough to beat. And he has ground conditions in his favour as well. I think Galopin Champ, the deeper the surface, the better I think the horse will be. Whereas Fastorslow, Martin Brazel did allude to, a little bit of nicer ground. The ground is drying, but I don't think there's going to be an issue on soft ground. Fastorslow, has proven form on this type of ground as well. I'm going to side with him at 5-1. Corach Rambler, through the form lines of the Ultima last year, the Grand National winner, I think could be ridden to place and could hit the frame at 20-1. He's, 2 from 2 at the festival. I think this is a very good horse, and he comes alive in the spring. So don't rule out a huge run from the Scottish runner, Corach Rambler, each way 20-1, but 5-1 Fastorslow, that's the pick.
Yeah, GalopinDesChamps for me all day long. No reason to get away from the inform Willie Mullins team. And if you want one of the bigger price for the Gold Cup, make sure you have a few bob on Gentleman's Game. He's a class horse on his day. He's coming in really under the radar for the Mouse Morris team. He knows all about training Gold Cup winners. Darragh O'Keefe couldn't be happier with the horse as well. Currently in around 16-1. Right, Barry, let's move on, because the St. James's Palace Festival Challenge Cup Open Hunters Chase. Billaway, Patrick and Willie Mullins 5-1, and it's on the line now in the new silks of JP McManus, of course, after a very, very good win. Derek O'Connor rode It's on the Line to win at Naas, and what a finish it was. Remember how Billaway came from an absolute country mile back? It was a brilliant finish, but I thought It's on the Line won snugly at Naas. Would you be in that train of thought as well?
100% of the short ones, and we'll come on to Dinoblue, of the short ones on Friday's card at Cheltenham, I think this has to be the best bet of the shorter prices. I think Emmett Mullins, look, speaking about Martin Brazel being a genius, Emmett Mullins, there's very few shrewder, and I just think It's on the Line. Look, looking at his overall profile, obviously he's won his last 3 starts on the race course, was second in this race last year. You mentioned that run at Naas. I mean, I thought he was only idling in front. So when the other horse came to him, he picked up again. To do that on that type of ground off the back, when Billaway came up sides, you're thinking there's only one winner. But this horse picked up and went again. And by all accounts, didn't even take a blow. So I just think, obviously, he's been purchased by McManus. He's 7 years of age, low mileage. Cheap pieces go back on. There's very little not to like. And Derek O'Connor and Emmett Mullins looking for that Cheltenham double as well after a victory with Corbet's Cross. I think It's on the Line will win. It's 2-1. A lot of deadwood in the race, and I just think that's the one to be on.
Yeah, not alone that, but It's on the Line, I think, could make into a really nice Grand National horse down the line as well. That's how good I think this horse could be. So yeah, I'm in agreement with you. It's on the line, 9-4 of the shorties on Friday. Put that in with GalopinDesChamps, and also we'll find one other, which we're going to come on to next, because that is, of course, an even money shot in the Mayor's Chase at 450. Dinoblue. I think, Barry, this Dinoblue has all the right credentials in another race that the Irish are going to be very, very dominant in on the penultimate race of the festival.
She could well win, but she won't be carrying my cash. And I think Limerick Lace is a model to hit the frame with the amount of runners in the race. Looking at the race conditions as well, I mean, she receives £5. She receives weight, obviously, off Dinoblue, who has been to the festival twice and has been beaten twice, has been well supported and well backed twice. She's stamina to prove as well on the new course on this type of ground. Look, I wasn't totally impressed with her jumping as well at Leopardstown. Thought she's prone to the odd jumping error. She wasn't totally fluent over her fences, even though she obviously ran well behind El Fabiolo. And she obviously won at Christmas as well, being Gentleman to Me. So I just think Limerick Lace could be the way to side here. 9-2 each way. You're getting the 3 places here. JP, obviously, we've only had 3 renewals of the race. JP has won it twice. Gavin Cromwell on this type of ground. I think that's the key with Limerick Lace, and she's proven over further. She gets weight. I think she'll run a big race, and she could serve it up to Dinoblue. So I'm going to go Limerick Lace each way against the favourite. I certainly wouldn't be piling in at even money. I'd rather double me stake and have it on It's on the Line.
Right, the final race is the Martin Pipe. It is the 2.5 mile contest, Barry, and again, it's always ultra competitive. 5 places on offer with Boyle Sports in the final race of this year's 2024 Cheltenham Festival.
Yeah, but there's 2 big talking horses at the top of the market, David. It's both Queen de Bourbon and the Gigginstown Silks, who have a super record, of course. Gigginstown have won the Martin Pipe on 4 occasions. Queen de Bourbon, I wasn't totally blown away by his jump, and he's obviously a good horse and has a big engine, David. But at Naas, on its first start for Willie Mullins. I wasn't totally blown away by his jump, and I thought he made a couple of errors and still got away with it. He mightn't get away with it in a race like this. Waterford Whispers has been a big talking horse for Henry de Bromhead. That's getting in right down the bottom of the weights, 133. Could be dangerous off that type of mark, but was well supported last time at Leopardstown and didn't get the job done, but he could be dangerous. I think I found one in here. Gordon Elliott for his old boss, Martin Pipe. Better Days Ahead, 10-1 at the moment each way. I think this is a cracking each way bet, because again, through the form lines of Slade Steel and looking back to that Navan run, this horse was fourth on that occasion. He was only beaten 5 lengths. The Champion Bumper was mega hot last year, and Better Days Ahead ran a good race in that race for a long time. He's a strong travelling type, and looking at his form, obviously he's proven over further as well, so the new course won't be any disadvantage to him. He's been given £4 tax by the British handicapper, but Danny Gilligan, I think, is probably worth £7 in a race like this. I just have to say, if there's one man that Gordon would love to train a winner for the Cheltenham Festival, after all the resources and after all the money he's after putting into the game, it's Noel Moran. I think this could be the one. Better Days Ahead, 10-1 each way in the last race. I'd be quite keen on him.
Well, I'm with What's Up Darling, another for Gordon Elliott. Connor Stone Walsh on board, finished second at Gordon. Very heavy conditions last time behind Lantry Lady. It was a very good winner. I think that's a cracking each way bet at 16-1. Right, remember, if you put in the comment section below all your picks for the final day's action, you need to find 2 or more winners, and we'll give away on next week's show. We'll announce the winner of 2 tickets to the Boyle Sports Irish Grand National. Hopefully,
and for Thursday.
And the Thursday also. And of course, hopefully you've enjoyed the daily coverage of Champ.ie's runs, and hopefully we found you some each way value and even an odd winner through the course of the week. From myself and Barry, enjoy Cheltenham Gold Cup Day.
Granger and Patrick Mullins.
McGree has justified favouritism, but sharp object out in front, ready for John McConnell and Alex Harvey.
Western victory, Silver Land.